Good afternoon, Virgo. They're unraveling and they're trying to hide it from you, from themselves, from everyone, but the unraveling is happening anyway. In private moments, when guard drops. In middle of the night, when sleep won't come because brain won't stop. In conversations with friends where your name keeps appearing, even though they swore they wouldn't bring you up again. You've become the variable they can't solve, the equation that doesn't balance, the question without answer. And for someone who needs control, who needs to know, to predict, to understand you being unknowable is driving them absolutely fucking insane. But here's the thing about obsession, they won't tell you it's not actually about you, not entirely. You're the trigger, but you're not the cause. The cause is them, their wounds, their patterns, their desperate need for certainty in a world that offers none. Their inability to sit with not knowing without spiraling into catastrophic thinking. You just happen to be compelling enough, unavailable enough, ambiguous enough to activate all of it at once. And now they're stuck, can't move forward, can't move back, can't even move sideways. Just stuck in loop of thinking about you, trying not to think about you, failing, thinking about you more. Let me show you what obsession looks like from the inside. It's checking phone constantly, not for messages from everyone, for messages from you specifically. And when there's nothing, when you haven't texted, haven't called, haven't reached out, the obsessive thoughts amplify. Why haven't they responded? Did I say something wrong? Are they with someone else? Have they forgotten I exist? Each hour of silence becomes evidence, evidence of your disinterest, evidence of their inadequacy, evidence of whatever fear is loudest that day. It's analyzing everything retrospectively, every conversation, every interaction, every text you sent, looking for meaning, for hidden messages, for proof of how you feel. When they said thing, did they mean interpretation or different interpretation? Which is more likely? And they'll ask friends, if someone says this, what does it mean? Like your words are code that needs decrypting. It's imagining scenarios, conversations that haven't happened, outcomes that might never happen, your future together or your future apart. Playing both movies simultaneously until they can't tell which one they actually want. They imagine confessing feelings, your response, what they'd say next. Full scripts written for events that exist only in their head. And the imagining becomes so detailed, it starts feeling like memory, like it already happened, creating confusion about what's real and what's just wishful thinking or catastrophic prediction. Um, it's emotional whiplash. One moment they're hopeful, signs point to them feeling same way. Next moment they're convinced you don't care. I'm reading into nothing. They're not interested. Up, down, up, down. Mood entirely dependent on most recent data point, your last text, last time you were together, last thing you said, and they hate it. Hate being this unstable, hate that you have this much power over their emotional state without even trying. Hate themselves for being so affected. Why the unknown specifically creates this level of spiral, because humans are meaning making machines. We can't tolerate ambiguity Brain needs to categorize, needs to know, are they interested or not? Do they want me or don't they? Should I pursue or give up? And when you give no clear answer, when you're unavailable in some way, when you're ambiguous in your interest, when you're not committing to clear position, brain goes into overdrive trying to solve you. And the more brain tries to solve you, the more obsessed it becomes. Because unsolved problems create tension, and tension demands resolution. But you're not providing resolution. Maybe because you don't know how you feel yet. Maybe because you're intentionally creating mystery. Maybe because you're just living your life and their obsession isn't your concern. Either way, no resolution, just continued tension. And continued tension becomes obsession. What worried reveals about what they're actually afraid of. They're not worried about whether you're good for them. They're worried about whether they're good enough for you, whether they measure up, whether they can compete with whoever else might be interested, whether their feelings are reciprocated or whether they're building castle on foundation of nothing. They're worried about looking stupid, about being the one who cares more, about being the person who fell when the other person was just casually walking. They're worried about rejection, not gentle, not interested. Devastating, how did you even think I'd be interested in you? Rejection that confirms every insecurity they've been carrying since childhood. They're worried about losing you before they ever had you, about you choosing someone else, about window closing, about missing their chance because they're too scared to take it. And they're worried about themselves, about being this affected, about losing control, about becoming the kind of person who obsesses about what this says about their stability. Because healthy people don't obsess, right? Healthy people can be interested without being consumed, can want someone without needing to know every thought they're having. So, what does it say about them that they're this far gone over you? And emotional, let's talk about what that actually means. They're feeling things they usually don't feel, or feeling things at intensity they usually don't experience. Maybe they're typically logical, analytical, controlled. Emotions are manageable, contained, useful, but not overwhelming. But you've broken through that, made them feel vulnerable, made them feel desperate, made them feel hopeful and terrified simultaneously. And feeling this much is uncomfortable for someone who's built identity around not being emotional wreck. They might cry thinking about you, not necessarily sad tears, just overwhelmed tears. Too much feeling with nowhere to go. They might get angry at themselves for caring this much, for being this affected, for giving you this much power that you didn't even ask for. They might feel joy that's almost painful when you do engage, when you text back, when you smile at them, when you give any indication that maybe feelings are mutual. And the emotional swings are exhausting. They're tired, tired of feeling this much, tired of thinking about you, tired of not knowing, tired of caring, but they can't stop, can't turn it off, can't make themselves not care through sheer will. What you probably did to create this, even if it was unconscious, you were inconsistent, not intentionally game playing necessarily, but inconsistent in your availability, your attention, your energy toward them. Sometimes warm, sometimes distant, sometimes engaged, sometimes distracted. And that inconsistency created intermittent reinforcement, which is literally the psychological mechanism that creates addiction. When reward is unpredictable, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. Brain becomes obsessed with figuring out the pattern, with maximizing chances of getting reward next time you were mysterious, didn't reveal everything, kept parts of yourself private, didn't answer every question, didn't explain every absence. And mystery creates obsession because brain wants to solve mystery, wants to know what you're not telling, wants access to parts of you that remain hidden. You were challenging, not in game playing way necessarily, but you didn't make yourself easy, didn't fall over yourself to accommodate, didn't rearrange your life to fit theirs. You maintained autonomy, kept your life separate, made them fit into your world rather than reshaping yourself to fit into theirs. And that challenge, that not being easy, makes you more valuable, more worth pursuing, more interesting than people who give everything immediately. You were authentic, which sounds opposite of mysterious, but both can be true. You were real when you were present, genuine in your interactions, not performing. And that authenticity, that realness, made the mystery more compelling because they got glimpses of real you and want more, want to know all of you, want access to fullness of who you are. What happens when someone's this obsessed, the danger zones? Um, they might make assumptions that aren't true, fill gaps in knowledge with imagination, decide they know how you feel based on incomplete data, and then act on those assumptions. Confess feelings you didn't know existed. Make moves you weren't ready for. Create pressure you didn't invite. They might become possessive, not necessarily in obvious ways, but jealous when you mention other people, territorial in subtle ways, wanting more of your time, attention, energy than you're offering. They might lose themselves, stop doing things they used to do because they're too consumed thinking about you. Neglect friends, neglect work, neglect themselves. Obsession that extreme isn't healthy for them or for potential relationship. They might reach out when they shouldn't. Late night texts they regret immediately. Drunk calls, showing up uninvited, behavior that crosses boundaries because obsession overrode judgment, or they might go opposite direction. Pull away completely, go cold, disappear, because being this obsessed feels too vulnerable, and withdrawal is only way they know to protect themselves. What you should do when you realize someone's this affected, first decide if you're interested, not in their obsession, in them, in actual relationship with actual them, assuming they could get stable. Because if you're not interested, if you don't see future here, kindest thing is clarity, not ambiguity, not breadcrumbs. Clear communication. I'm not interested romantically. I see you as friend. I'm not available for what you seem to want. Clean, direct, final. Yes, it might hurt, but it allows them to grieve and move on instead of staying stuck in obsessive loop. If you are interested but their obsession concerns you, address it. I like you, but I need you to be more stable. This intensity isn't sustainable. Set boundaries. I need space. I can't be your emotional everything. You need to maintain your own life. Healthy relationship requires two whole people, not one person obsessing and one person managing the obsession. If you're interested and their intensity doesn't bother you and you think they can stabilize, give them clarity they're craving. I like you too. I want to see where this goes. I'm interested in exploring this. That clarity might actually reduce obsession because a lot of obsessive energy is trying to solve the unknown, give them the answer, and brain can relax, but also don't take responsibility for managing their emotions. You can care about them, can have compassion, but their emotional regulation is their job. You didn't create their obsession, they did through their patterns. You can be honest with them, but you can't fix them. The power is yours. It always has been. You have this person obsessed. The unknown has them worried. They're emotional over you. And what you do with that, whether you engage, whether you create distance, whether you offer clarity or maintain mystery, that's entirely your decision based on what you want. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Trust yourself. And listen, being obsessed over feels like power until you realize obsession isn't love, it's fixation, it's unstable. It's sometimes closer to illness than affection. So if someone's this affected by you, ask yourself, do you want someone who obsesses? Or do you want someone who loves healthily, consistently, stably? Those are different things. Choose wisely.